Welcome to CrossPolitic 5-Minute Fix.
I love these segments.
Here with us in the studio is Steve Yates, running for lieutenant governor in Idaho. Steve, one of the things we've noticed as we've focused on Idaho politics here at CrossPolitic is, I think for us, two big overarching issues is the pro-life issue, protection of the unborn in Idaho. Obviously, we care about all the unborn, but insofar as we care about Idaho, we want to see all of the unborn protected in the state of Idaho. And then secondarily, and related to it, is the sovereignty of the state of Idaho. And so as, you know, we see a lot of cultural and political chaos going on, it seems that it's more and more important for lesser magistrates, states, to protect those people under them against federal government overreach. And so wanted to get your thoughts on both of those topics and just throw this out there for you. A number of states are doing this on liberal issues, right? So you've got states legalizing marijuana in the face of federal regulations and federal law. You've got states who are, or cities even, that are saying we're a sanctuary city, we're a sanctuary state. Illegal immigrants are welcome here, and we're not gonna.
And the government is dropping the hammer on those guys.
No, they're not.
Oh,
no.
So my thought is, and my suggestion is what if Idaho says, here in Idaho, abortion is illegal from conception on, period. And the feds, of course, come and say, Roe versus Wade, and everything else, Casey versus Planned Parenthood, all the precedents. You say, hey, we're not going to show up in court. We're not even going to show up in court.
Come at me, bro.
Until you get some equity here.
Right.
Right. If you care about your authority and the state, state authority, then let's go talk to Colorado about marijuana. Let's talk to Washington about marijuana. Let's talk about, the sanctuary cities. What do you think?
Well, first, I think these are two core and vital principles that can and should be addressed. And I also think we're at a moment of potential opportunity on both.
Yeah.
Number one,
Absolutely.
for the first time in the history of the United States, we've got a vice president of the United States who attended the National March for Life.
Imagine that.
Yes.
And so we've got an advocate in high places that would seemingly be on side on these kinds of things. And when it comes to state sovereignty, we are at a point, no matter what anyone wants to say about Donald Trump and Vice President Pence, we don't have leaders in the White House who wake up every day ready to step on the rights of states. And so, and that wasn't the case in the prior administration. So in general, we should have a permissive environment to advance on this. I believe firmly in respecting the will of the people. And I do think that it's totally legitimate for the people of Idaho to organize on both of these ways, and they can peacefully and by proper process go forward. And we don't have to we can be happy warriors about this and just put it forward.
Absolutely.
And if they want to engage in court, let them engage in court. If they want to test the proposition. But at this point, we've got two corners on the three-part co-equal branches of government that should be on side, and it's the courts now that are the battleground.
Don't you think that on an issue of life, so we're talking about life and death, is that one of the? I agree. It should be the will of the people, but since we're talking about something that's so clear, so black and white, are the leaders of Idaho responsible to outlaw abortion as soon as possible because God says, despite polls, despite what the people, God says, right? Human life is the most fundamental right because God gives it.
And if you can't take care of the most innocent.
Right. And so should they wait for there to be enough people that agree with them, or should the leaders, the elected leaders of Idaho say,
who know better,
who know that these are human lives that are being taken in our state, and I'm going to answer before God for how I defend them or not. Yeah. Shouldn't they do everything they can to outlaw it?
Right. But what I'm saying is I think the answer to that is yes, but then we elect representatives to go to a body and then vote in order to enact legislation.
Right.
And there will be members of that elected body that will not agree.
Right.
And so you go through that process of those people speaking from their conscience, but also as representatives going in to enact that law. You get that signed by a governor and you move forward. But it's a topic on which I think there's broad-based support in Idaho.
Right. That's what I would think.
But we know if we've got a soft heart on this, that there are awful circumstances that bring people to that situation. And we've got to find ways to help the people that end up in those situations so that they will choose life.
Crisis pregnancy centers and adoption and all those kind of things.
There's a lot of good things. We can and should do more.
And let me end here. I think Idaho is actually one of the few strategic states in the nation that actually could do this and outlaw abortion. We're a very thick conservative state, and not just a conservative state, but we also have a stomach, I think, for doing these kinds of things in a way that would set a precedent for other states to get confidence. Wyoming, Texas, a number of these other conservative states who don't quite have the heart to do some of these things. I think Idaho does.
It's going to take courage.
It's courage. Ultimately, it's courage.
Well, Idaho Chooses Life is a great organization, and they do a lot of organizing and influencing. I think we can all rally around vehicles like that to try to see whether we can test this proposition.
Yeah.
Steve Yates in the studio with us. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Until next time,
Steve.
Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is CrossPolitic.